All Objective-C objects inherit an init method from the NSObject class. So, unlike in Swift, it's not always necessary to implement a custom initializer. If I go into the main function of our house project, I can initialize an instance of the house class with no problem. You've seen this a few times now. Every time you create an object, you type alloc, which allocates some memory space, and then init to initialize the object instance. Alloc and init are always written together. They're like entangled particles. They can't be separated. That being said, this house I initialized has no address, so I think we should write a custom initializer. We'll write our custom initializer in the house.m file. This is the first method we're writing together, so let's take a minute to talk about the syntax of method definitions. Every method definition starts with a return type. In this case, our return type is going to be instance type. Instance type indicates an instance of the class in which this method is found. In this case, an instance of the house class. After the return type, we'll type init. No surprise there. But generally, you're going to want to initialize an instance of a class with some values. So it's common to name your initializer init with some property. In our case, we'll init with address. And then we place a colon after the method name. After the colon, we pass in our parameter, address, and of course address is going to be a pointer to a string. We indicate the parameter type here in between parentheses, and include an asterisk to show that the parameter is a pointer to an object. After the parameter type comes the parameter itself, address, and then some curly braces to hold the body of the method. So the general form for writing a method definition looks like this. The return type between parentheses, the method name followed by a colon, the parameter type between parentheses. If the parameter is an object, include an asterisk, the parameter name, and then in between curly braces, the body of the method. Now let's get back to initialization. Every init method is going to start out by calling the init method of its superclass, which in this case is NSObject. So we set self equal to super_init. Next we want to check that everything went well with that call to super_init. So we type if self. Self should have a value now, so this statement should evaluate to true. Then, in the body of this if statement, we'll initialize our properties. I place an underscore here before address, and this is how I access the address instance variable directly. Remember that address is marked with the attribute copy, so we want to initialize it with a copy of the string that's being passed in. This line protects the address from the unintentional changes we talked about earlier. So again, we set underscore address equal to a copy of address, the parameter being passed in. We'll give these other properties default values. Let's say the default number of bedrooms is 2, and the default value of has hot tub is false. When we're done setting the values of the properties, we return self.